we did NL last week. We're going to move on to the AL this week. And David came up with his list of players that really need to come through in order for their team to get to the promised land. So let's give it a go here. Let's start it off with the – oh, I'm sorry. You have something to say?
We both came up together. There's the guy I want to hear your idea behind.
Okay.
I'd love to hear it. I agree with you. I agree with it, but I want to hear one for sure. I want you to back it up and tell me where you're at with it.
Okay. Well, let's start with the former Oakland team, the future LA team, the Athletics Baseball Club. And I'm going
Sacramento, Las Vegas, wherever.
Yeah, something. We're going to start off with Tyler Soderstrom. So why Tyler Soderstrom?
Obviously, had a good, nice little rookie campaign out there. Really liked it. Liked what he has. But definitely, this is that second year. We got to grow a little bit. And here's the thing. This A's team is going to be pretty dang good, man. They're going to be exciting. They've got a lot of great players. I love Lawrence Butler. Signing Lawrence Butler is huge. Brent Rooker obviously is an absolute stud. J.J. Bleday is a stud as well. There's a lot to like on this team. What I'm enjoying, too, is even last year, when we look at the stats, like there's only one player on that starting nine that's had a negative WAR. So they're getting better. They're improving all year. Rotation, Luis Severino. How about that? Like JP Shears is a stud. Like they have pieces. They've got pieces. It's gonna be a fun team. But with Tyler, he's that guy. Let's see him step back up because we know Butler and Rooker and Bleday. We know what they're kind of bringing on the team, especially Butler. He's a stud. Let's see that next step for Tyler.
Cool. We're gonna move on to Baltimore and. I've got Adley Rutschman. What do you think?
Adley, so this is the dude. Like Gunnar obviously took that huge step up this last year in 24. Adley, who's the veteran above him, for me, the Gunnar's going to be great. Like obviously, it's going to be interesting on that third year how Gunnar just continues to grow. Adley, though, I want to see him continue with where he's been. Like continue with what he's been doing. It's great. It's solid. I don't need solid. I need, I need a huge contributor on this team where him and Gunnar just back to back in that lineup just become monsters.
I'm going to say this real quick because I don't want to go on a long tangent, but if you take a look at Adley's, this is going to be his third year. Yes. His third full year. His rookie year was technically 2023 along with Gunnar. And a lot of his counting stats have gone down. You look at his OPS, look at some of those other things, and they've gone down. Me personally, if I was the general manager of the Orioles, knowing that catchers usually fade pretty quickly, I would actually try to trade him now. But I know they wouldn't do that. He's a fan favorite. He's a former first-round pick. I know they wouldn't do it. But Adley, you need to come through this year if the Orioles have a chance to win that division.
That's actually the worst thing I think you've ever said about trading players and stuff. I don't agree with it at all. To me, like when you got a guy who's an all-star catcher, you do not even remotely think about moving him ever. You lock him into a contract for as long as he can speak.
Okay. Well, we'll disagree on that, but I've just seen too many guys. Hey, remember Matt Wieters?
Absolutely. Played for a long time. And had a solid spot behind that bullpen, behind the plate, and was a very good catcher for a long time. They locked him in and they had nobody behind him. That's the thing, is like catchers are so hard to find and that are solid. Never move a catcher if you don't have to. Ever.
Well, all I know is Matt Wieters started off really hot and then slowly but surely his numbers diminished over time. To the point where he wasn't that powerhouse. I mean, he's not,
They provide more than that. That's the key to this. They provide a lot more to it, and they had no one behind him. That's the thing. When you have nobody else, catching the tip of the iceberg, catching is so small compared to the other positions. When you have it, never let go of it. Just don't ever move it.
Okay. Let's move over to Boston, and let's talk about Trevor Story. Do you think that he's going to have a good year, and is he the guy that needs to do it?
Well, the Boston, here's the thing. You said at the second part. Do I think he's going to have a good year? ? Does he need to have it? Absolutely. Let's step up and finally be the guy that they signed out of Colorado Rockies, that they got. He was an absolute stud with the Rockies. Now you have a type of team that you can win. You had Devers, Duran, Bregman, Cassis, like Story, Yoshida, like they have the pieces. Connor Wong, they brought him in. Like there's some great pieces here. Connor Wong, they traded a while ago with him with the Dodgers, but I remember that when that happened. But Trevor Story is an absolute stud. Has not played like it at all with Boston. If he gets on and gets going, this team is a really, really dangerous offensive team that could compete with the Yankees day in, day out from a lineup standpoint.
Telling you right now, and we're going to have our season preview right before the season, talk about where everybody's going to finish in the standings. I got Boston at number 1 in the AL. All right, let's move on to the Gindians or the Guardians or the Indians, whatever you want to call. Oh, sorry, I
skipped the team, and I totally understand why you skipped them. The Chicago White Sox.
Sorry, I skipped the White Sox. So
next,
the choice, Luis Robert Jr.
Luis Roberts. That's a really, like, when you're looking at, like, and really what he's doing is doing for himself. Step up.
No, he's not doing it for himself.
For yourself, dude.
No, he's not doing it for himself. If he has a good year, it helps the White Sox because they're going to trade his ass and get 2 or 3 pieces if he has a big year.
Well, but that's why he's doing it. He's doing it for himself to get somewhere else, to get value and to get signed, to get a larger contract, because none of those things are going to happen in the White Sox unless they get new ownership, which they're talking about. Reinsdorf's talking about getting new ownership, new stadium, everything about it needs to change. They just need to drop a bomb and start over.
All right. Now we're going to go to the Guardians. Kyle Manzardo.
This is my guy. I want to hear you talk about him.
I just think he's got all the potential in the world, and he hasn't tapped into it yet. And I think he is that guy behind, who can be behind J-Ram and be that guy that they really need to step up.
J-Ram, God dang, he's so good. Stephen Kwan is awesome getting on base. Yeah, this is one of those lineups where I'm sitting there going like, God, where am I going to get my runs from outside of the first couple guys? Kyle Manzardo, if he's able to step up and start playing on those type of levels, like the growth that we saw out of Kwan, growth we saw out of J-Ram, like he is going to be an absolute stud, superstar. Just got to see that growth in a lineup where he's going to get a lot of at-bats.
Yep. All right, we're going to move over to Detroit, and we're going to go with the former first overall pick, Spencer Torkelson, who has been very disappointing so far in his career.
He was first overall.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So Spencer Torkelson stepped up his first year and did well. The second year really kind of like backed off. I mean, that's the thing about it. It was like that sophomore slump. Not really excited about it. This is a team that was so exciting at the end of the season with Tariq Skubal basically taking the ball every day and just winning and absolutely amazing making the playoffs. That offense just needs help. The biggest problem with that whole offense, though, and you know exactly what it is. What's the biggest problem with that offense?
No power.
Javier Baez, get rid of his ass. I guarantee you he's a cancer in that clubhouse. I guarantee you it is just the worst decision by ownership that he has not gone. Why are you wasting your money? The money's gone anyways, so might as well just get rid of his ass and start over. Like, sometimes the worst thing you can do is just have somebody in the clubhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. And every time I look at Javier Baez, I keep thinking, damn, the Mets traded Pete Crow Armstrong for that bum.
I get it. I get it. The promise is there. When he hits a ball, it's good. Yeah. But the dude can't hit a ball.
Yeah. All right. Move on to the Astros. And I think the guy on that team has to be Christian Walker, their newest import.
Love it. Love it. Huge signing, but he has to start off the year hot. He ends the year always really good. He actually needs to start a year hot, which doesn't make any sense when you're down here in Arizona and everything's hot. It's really nice. It's nicest weather there is in baseball outside of probably San Diego. It's probably better than San Diego for most of the year until it gets too hot. But Christian Walker, absolute stud, big power hitter. He's going to hit huge home run numbers down there in Dankenfield, Dankenfield, whatever it is now. And so he's going to have huge home run numbers out in the Crawford boxes there. Just a matter of he has to start the season off hot.
All right, we're going to move on now. And Adam Schefter's new competition, Vinny Pasquantino of the Royals, is the guy that needs to step it up.
Vinny Pasquantino, obviously.
You know why I said the new Adam Schefter, right?
No.
Because he was breaking news. He was the one that told everybody that the Jets were signing Justin Fields, and he gave everybody the pretty much the exact dollar number. It was pretty interesting.
Did he? That's interesting. Obviously, we know Bobby Witt Jr. To me, I would have had it. I had it between Vinny and Jonathan India, and I wanted to see like which one of those two guys, like India at this point, like be the guy we've all thought you were going to be. Be him. Let's go. Like take that next step in your career. Vinny's still young enough. I'm not too worried about him yet. But at the same time, like this Royals franchise needs that next generation of guys in the whole lineup and not just Bobby Witt. They need 3 or 4 guys that can take over. If they do, they're going to become the Royals of the mid 2010s and just be a dominant force. And I think they can win a World Series if they just get a core 3 or 4 guys.
And it's interesting, too. I read some reports not too long ago that the Royals really targeted one of the Mets players to bring in to be that veteran off the bench or veteran player. And I don't know why it never happened. Starling Marte would have been really good for that team.
Interesting. Absolutely. Would have been great off the bench. To me, like he's starting obviously here if you're in the Royals. Really good. And it's amazing when you're looking at their roster outside of Renfroe and Salvi, everybody is like 4 years of service time or less. Almost everybody until you get to the pitching rotation.
Yeah.
Everybody in that lineup is 4 years or less, which is incredible. But we talked about this. When you have that, you need that veteran presence. Salvi's there. I love it, but you got to have maybe one more guy. Maybe it's Hunter. I don't know how he is in the locker room, but you got to have that. We talked about with Baltimore that you need that. They still have it, but they might need one more.
Yep. All right, move on to the Los Angeles Angels, and we'll talk about there's only one guy who can play over there. And nobody better say that the guy who needs to step up is freaking the idiot at third base, because no, Rendon ain't coming back. It's got to be Mike Trout.
They need to cut ties with Rendon as soon as humanly possible because it's the same thing as Javier Baez. When you don't want to be there every day and you play like crap, just cut your losses. Bad contract. I get why they paid. I get why the Angels paid him. But the guy that really needs to step up and just be healthy, just play baseball games because if he's on the field, he's one of the best baseball players of all time. He's a generational talent, and everybody loves him, and he's a great teammate. He's never said the wrong thing ever in his life. I wish he started saying some wrong things. It'd probably create some excitement, but just be on the field, dude. That's it. Just be on the field because they have some great stuff there. They've got some players, man. They've got some dudes. Zach Neto is an absolute stud. Ohapi we need him to get better though too, but really it all comes down to Trout.
Yep. All right. The Minnesota Twins, a team that can never stay healthy. I'm going to go with Royce Lewis.
Royce, again, this is one of the special talents in baseball. When he's healthy, when he's on the field, he is an absolute stud. I just want to see him get that consistent streak where he's on the field every day playing baseball because, guys, if you don't know his name yet, like look him up and watch him play baseball. He's an absolute stud.
Yep. We'll go to the New York Yankees, and we chose Marcus Stroman.
Marcus Stroman. I love the baseballs. Makes him feel like he's a balls on his chin. Sorry, Marcus Stroman, absolute douchebag. At the end of the day, the rotation all depends on him. That's it. There's no other way to say this entire season. Is right now on his shoulders.
Yeah, Marcus
Stroman of all.
Marcus Stroman. You said you're a starter. You said that you won't go to the bullpen because I'm a starter. You walk like an ace. You talk like an ace. Go out and be an ace. Now that Garrett Cole is out, do what you got to do. And if you can do it, you'll get paid. If you can't, shut up.
Luis Hill will come back. We'll see how he is when he comes back, if he full back and healthy. But now that rotation got really thin, and it's got Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Marcus. You got Clark Schmidt, Will Warren. So it got really thin really quick. At the same time, everything we think about Marcus, even if he's just average Marcus Stroman, is still good enough at a 3-hole, 4-hole in a roster. It's not going to be superstar step over like make a huge thing for the Yankees type of thing, but they need that. They need him to step up and see him at his very best. We'll just see if we ever get that from him again.
He just needs to have one complete season where he's the same in the first half as he is in the second half. That's it. Yes. Bottom line.
Thank you.
All right. One guy that really annoys me, not because I don't like him, is Randy Rosarena of the Mariners. This guy, all the potential in the world. Please do something.
Dude, did anybody have a better World Baseball Classic and market themselves higher than he did? There was nobody on earth that had a more marketable World Baseball Classic than he did. And then he goes with the Rays, does well, gets the trade, and just became another Seattle hitter. That's the problem. And I actually don't know how much of his decline is based upon him or based upon actually just Seattle. Like hitting in Seattle. And that's the biggest problem. But he needs to figure it out. He's going to be right in the middle of that lineup. They got a solid lineup. Julio Rodriguez, Kyle Raleigh, him. Victor Robles is solid. Luke Raley, obviously, we know about like some of these guys. Polanco, he's going to be in the middle of that lineup. And like if they have any chance to win baseball games, I was already doing it. If he has any chance to win baseball games, it's going to be on his shoulders.
Yeah. Now we're going to go to Randy Arozarena's former team, the Tampa Bay Rays, and they got a guy last year at the trade deadline, Christopher Morel, who has all the talent in the world, and I'd love to see him be the guy.
Christopher Morel, all the talent in the world, right? You said all the power in the world. Like when he was dropping bombs in Wrigley Field, it was so fun to watch. His power, his excitement, the way he loves baseball, it's so clear. But we need to now make him, like, again, a consistent, good hitter that doesn't just hit a bomb off the walkway every now and then. Let's see him hit 35, 40, and have a decent batting average and have great plate appearances. I don't want to see the flash. I want to see the consistency.
Mm-hmm. Move on to the Texas Rangers, my former favorite player, now the oft-injured ace of the Texas Rangers, Jacob deGrom.
Yes. Stay healthy.
That's it. Stay healthy. Next.
Please, for the love of baseball, you and Mike Trout, for the love of baseball, just stay healthy.
All right, really quick.
If he is healthy, the Rangers are going to win a lot of ball games, and they might win the American League, by the way.
Really quick. You could have one player at his peak for one season. Are you taking Jacob deGrom? Are you taking Randy Johnson? Or are you taking Pedro?
I am taking Jacob deGrom.
That's how good he is, folks. If you don't understand how good Jacob deGrom is when he's healthy, he is that freaking good.
Yeah.
And finally,
deGrom. Yep.
One of your former teams and a guy whose daddy played, Bo Bichette.
Bo Bichette, God, like that lineup's going to start and end with him. I think this year. I love what they did with the moves. Obviously, they're in the market for everybody else. The worst move they've made all offseason that they didn't give Vladdy $500 million. Like, are you kidding me? He's going to get $500 million. You offered Ohtani $700. You offered Soto $700. Like, you got the dude, and he's a Blue Jay, and he wants to be a Blue Jay forever. I guarantee you there was more of that negotiation than Vladdy was talking about. It's just $500 million. Like, there's something else there. Because you tell me the Blue Jays wouldn't give that to him. Like, he was worth every penny of that. Yeah. There's something else that we don't know about. That
probably
who knows
a weight
about
clause.
Yeah, there's something, and there's a bunch of clauses in there that they want that they're not talking about. Bo Bichette, though, the offense begins and ends with him. To be honest, like Vladdy's gonna do his thing. Bo's got to stay healthy, be on that field every day, and just be normal Bo. But be above average Bo. Like this is your time to shine. Be the starter of this offense and go.
Bo looks like a goddamn hippie though. He needs a haircut.